What do you hear? What do you say?
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Rock and Big Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z. Episode 128 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go and get your official TCSF shirts now. As always, I am Big Z. E-Rock is on softball duty this week, so you'll get to hear nothing but my lovely voice this week. So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. And if you're a first timer or a long timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button. Go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook at True Chicago Fans. You can find us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and IG at True Chicago Sports Fans. Go ahead and follow. Yeah, get the notifications. Don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go over there and click on the support button, and you can subscribe for as little as 99 cents a month. You can spend a lot more money on gasolina, on eggs, whatever your vice is. You spend more money on that. Throw us $1. It's $1 a month. That's $12 a year. Come on, do it. So I know you like the show, and I know you guys are fans, so tell your friends, and they'll tell their friends, and then we can all just be great friends. And if you enjoy the content, we'll make you, if you enjoy the content, if we make you laugh or cry or yell or just think, please share it with others who like it as well. Again, this goes back to telling your friends. All right, so let's get into my week. It was a hell of a week going back to work. It was kind of tough. Kids are testing at all stages and whatever tests they're doing in the classrooms, but we also had the PACER test. So they were kind of excited for that, and I'm very proud of how my students did in the PACER test. A lot of students took it very, very seriously and tried to upstage their other accomplishments. So what I mean by that is they had a practice test at the beginning of the year, and that's to see where they were at coming out of a pandemic, and it's my first year with them. I don't know what their baseline is, so what I started to do is like, hey, let's see where you guys at. And then right now in January we did the actual first test, and then we'll do another post test at the end of the school year, so probably in May. And hopefully there's some growth there that these guys can show their parents that, hey, we're actually working out in PE. We're actually running around. We're sweating. We're improving that cardiovascular endurance. Yes, big words there. Now for bowling. First off, I want to give out a shout out to Louie and Eric and Anita and the rest of the team for beating us last week handily and securing a playoff spot. So, congrats to you and your team, sir. All right, that's enough. When we see you in your playoffs, we're kicking your ass. Other than that, I'm back to bowling a little bit more my average. I've gone back to my first bowling ball, the high road, and been using that a little bit better. So it's getting better. Again, moving on. Different balls react differently in different lanes on the oil pattern, and it's taking time to get used to. But the main thing I want to talk about bowling here is because Sean from the 606 other podcast called the No Water in a Weekend podcast invited myself, and he was going to bowl with Steven, and we invited E-Rock to come over, and we were going to bowl in this tournament. Well, E-Rock was going to show up and cheer us on and probably, have a couple Rocky Mountain refreshments there. But we were going to bowl this tournament. It was going to be right by E-Rock's house, and for some reason, Steven from the No Water No Weekend podcast, tells Sean, hey, Sean, I have a work event, so I'm not going to be able to go. He tells him the day of in the morning. Sean doesn't tell me. I show up. I drive my butt all the way to the burbs of Franklin Park or River Grove or whatever suburb that was at the Bolero up there. And I'm looking around I'm like, hey, I don't see anybody. Let me text the guys. Guys, where are you? Crickets for a couple minutes. And, the bowling has kind of, there's a league on the right-hand side. There's a bunch, but 30 lanes at least. People on the right-hand side, you can tell that's the league, nightly league. Left-hand side, left corner, that's, free bowling. The tournaments, you can see people that are, sparingly in the middle. So you can tell that's a tournament. You can tell, like, no one really knows each other. Everyone's, like, looking around what's going on. I don't see the guys. Finally, Sean's like, oh, my fucking God. I forgot to tell you, bro. My bad. I'm like, no, wait. It is, what's going on? He's like, yeah, we're bowling at Diversity. I'm like, wait, weren't you coming to the tournament? He's like, oh, man, I forgot to tell you. Steven said he had a work event and told me in the morning that I forgot to tell you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a group text where all four of us are on there. And we communicate on a daily basis. That group chat is going on at all times of the day and night and early morning. With, either we're trying to communicate something or there's a bunch of BS going on. But wow. You couldn't tell me after I drove 14 miles, whatever it is, in traffic, in the snow, in the cold. Come on, Steven. Come on. And then Steven sends me this is my location. Dude, I believe you. You're at a work function. You don't have to prove it to me. Your word is your bond, sir. That's how we work around here. Your word is your bond. So I ended up trucking it back over to Diversity. I met up Sean and the rest of the crew that was bowling there. They're bowling for fun. And, I got about 3 games in. And E-Rock ended up showing up too. So thanks, E-Rock, for trekking it all the way down to the city and bowling a couple games. I know that's not your cup of tea, but you made the best of it and had a great time. Let me just tell you, we had a great time. And we're going to post that picture on the 606 Media Facebook and an Instagram page. And we're going to tag Steven on there. And you'll know exactly how we feel about Steven on that day. So, Steven, F you. Nah, for real. We love you, Steven. Just don't do that shit again. All right. In this episode, we're going to talk about my 2 favorite teams and all of the surrounding news that is happening with them. All that is going on in the loop. All that plus stirring the pot and what you looking at. But first, this is the Big 3 with Big Z. All right. Story number 1. You're not going to believe this story. I mean, there's no way this is possible, but apparently this is actually really, really true because it also made it to Good Morning America as I watch it. I put Good Morning America because that's the weather and everything going on in the morning, but whatever. Here. A Japanese YouTuber's pet fish commits credit card fraud against the owner while playing Pokemon.
I'm in danger.
So this is wild. Again, the entire incident was caught on camera during a live stream on the Mute Kimaro channel on YouTube. The channel is famous for its clips of fish playing video games on the Nintendo Switch through motion detection tracking software, which can track a fish as they swim through a tank and use the information to input commands on the video game based on where the fish are positioned. However, things went awry during a live stream of a group of fish playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet after Mitakumaru, whatever his name is, stepped away. The video game crashed, but the game system continued to follow the fish's input, leading into the Nintendo store, where users can purchase games and other downloadable content. The fish managed to swim in a way that allowed them to access the store before exiting and re-entering after they made a purchase. The fish eventually charged 500 yen through the Nintendo store, equivalent to about $3.85 to a credit card already saved on the Switch account. Unbeknownst to the owner, the fish also exposed his credit card information to the public on the live stream during the purchase. The swimmers also downloaded the N64 emulator and used the gold coins saved up from the purchases through the Nintendo shop to buy golfing digital cosmetic for the Nintendo Switch Sports. This is insane. This fish went rogue. Literally went rogue and said, you left me here alone. You didn't feed me. This water's murky and you haven't changed it in a couple weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna charge up your credit card. And this is why I don't have fish. I don't really like fish. Just whatever. So if you do own a Nintendo Switch or are live streaming, keep your fish away from your Nintendo Switch and the camera. All right. Story number 2, sticking with the animal theme. A dog shoots and kills a man in a hunting-related accident, Kansas authorities say.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
That's rough. A man in Kansas died after he was shot and killed by a dog in a hunting-related accident, authorities just said. The shooting reported around 9:40 in the morning this past Saturday, about 2 weeks ago, in the 1600 block of East 80th Street near Wellington, a city in a rural area located about 45 miles south of Wichita, according to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Authorities said that the man was sitting in the front passenger seat of a pickup truck. Where else? While hunting gear and a rifle were in the back seat along with the dog. Oh my goodness. According to the authorities, a canine belonging to the owner of the pickup stepped on the rifle, causing the weapon to discharge. They fired a round that struck the passenger, who died of his injuries on the scene. This is wild. I mean, the animals are starting to fight back. I don't know if that dog had a beef with the guy in the front, but I mean, first of all, if you have a firearm, you make sure it is secure. You make sure that it has the safety on. If it doesn't, then you make sure that nothing can happen to that weapon where it can discharge. So you put that in the back. You don't put that where anything can touch it. Come on, let's be smart firearm owners. Come on. So responding to deputies, they came within minutes to try to start CPR, but Smith was pronounced dead at the scene, and the investigation is now ongoing. It's not immediately clear who owned the truck or who called 911. Oh boy. I'm telling you right now, these animals are starting to fight back. Story number 3, a man who forked over a whopping $23,000 for a highly realistic bespoke wolf suit says he wears it and he no longer feels human, which is the least I'd expect after spending that much cash, to be honest. Toru Ueda, an engineer from Tokyo, likes to relax and unwind by donning his wolf costume. It took 4 people 7 weeks to create. It gives him a chance to escape his normal human life and embrace feeling like a wolf. This dude is nuts. Ueda, who is 32, paid the $23,000 to a company that makes models and costumes for TV shows and films. Although it is a fair amount of cash to part with. I mean, if you got it to spend it on something, you're gonna spend it on something. But I don't know about this. He says it's worth every penny. I'm looking at the pictures. It looks super realistic. We will post this on the 606 Media Facebook website. This picture is ridiculous. The only thing where you can tell that he's actually not a wolf is around his hands or paws. This is something that's I can't even describe this. Oh my God, I can't even describe. This is weird. He said he had 3 face-to-face meetings with the company, as well as sharing numerous images of wolves with the company and exchanging 40 emails where they discussed the suit down to every last detail, including the pattern and the texture of the coat. And he says it was all worth it. When I look in the mirror, I see a wolf, and that is very moving. I'm not a werewolf. That's kind of a monster, and I'm not a monster. So you might think that Ueda is keen to show off his costume. Not really. He doesn't really show off his costume. He just goes around and walks around in it, but he's not a what is that? A Furby? Yeah, he's not a Furby. So he doesn't go show up to parties and his stuff. I mean, it's $23,000. I don't think you want to mess around with that suit and mess it up or tear it or spill some wine on it. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but people are getting weirder and weirder. I don't even know what to say to that last story, because people will dress up as Furbies and do all kind of stupid other things. And if you don't know what a Furby is, you can go ahead and Google that, and I'll let your algorithm mess up over there. But this man dresses up as a werewolf, walks around in the woods or the parks or whatever, and he feels free. All right, well, more power to you, brother. Oh, man. All right, everybody, I'm Big Z, and that's news to me. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to Nowhere on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z and E-Rock.
Water on the weekend.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z. This is The Loop, our Chicago Sports Roundup, where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about my two favorite teams in the city, and that is the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox. There's some news there. There's no news on the other fronts, so we're just going to keep it simple and get straight to the point. So story number one? No, we're not doing that. That's last segment. What we're going to talk about is the White Sox. Yes, the White Sox.
White Sox. White Sox. Go, White Sox. Let's go, White Sox. We're with you all.
They made a little bit of news announcing that Jason Benetti and Steve Stone will be back in the broadcast booth calling White Sox games for 2023 and beyond.
Thanks, Cubs.
The White Sox announced this past Thursday that the team picked up a multi-year option for Benetti and signed Stone to a multi-year contract. Benetti's definitely a rising star. This man does pretty much every sport. He's done Monday Night Baseball. He's done, football games, college football, college basketball. He's filled in with the Bulls. He became the full-time play-by-play man for the White Sox in 2019 when Harrison retired. But I mean, this guy is really good, and you can't dog announcers for what team they represent, right? Like the Cubs have great announcers, the Bulls have great announcers. The Blackhawks had great announcers for a very long time. So, you need a voice to tell the story, to paint the picture. Some of us listen to on the radio because they do that for you. They paint the picture. They talk about how green the grass is and the wind is blowing and how the flag is moving and so forth. They paint the picture. Benetti is the play-by-play. He's going to tell you all that. And then, have Steve Stone telling his stories, and he's giving you expertise, and he predicts the next play because he's been in the game for so long. So this is a match made in heaven. I love Stoney, and Benetti has been great. I know some people don't like him because he's a little corny, but you know what? Corny is going to bring some people into it, the Sox math. That thing is huge. People play that left and right. You know what? I try to guess, and, My math skills are not that fast. I'm not a calculator, but you know what? I try to play. If I see it, I'll try to play. But it is super hard. It's not an easy thing to do. So, but Nettie did join 670 to score with Danny Parkins, and he had this to say.
I was getting ready to do Purdue, Michigan last night with Phil Raftery, and I was reading people's tweets, and I was like, man, I truly was a little overwhelmed, because I was like, these people really do care about what we do, and I think it's awesome. And it's like, for sure, we get into this as young announcers because we go to this school at Syracuse, and we're like, we're going to go be the next whatever. And it's hyper competitive, and it's crazy town there. And there's so much that goes into it. And you kind of pour your soul into the craft of doing what you do and what I do. And to have people feel that way is really a beautiful thing. So it was a very weird day. I had told Raph a little bit over lunch, like, he's like, well, you're looking at your phone, right? Sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, this story came out, but like, I think we're good. And we were like, there was just paperwork that had to get done. So we got it done, and here we are.
How close were you to leaving?
I love this job so much. I really, 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 really do love this job so much. And I think everybody knows that 2021 was hard on me with the travel stuff, and there was some strife there and all that. And, there was a little bit of like experiential learning. Like, I felt a little bit like a player. Like, I now know what the arbitration process is like, where like people walk into a room and they're like, yeah, are you that good? That sort of thing, right? Like, you hear about with the players all the time. But I'm obviously joking, but I want to be here, and I have always wanted to be here, and just surveying how well it's gone with Steve and how much I've enjoyed it and how great so many people in the organization have been. I want to be here. So the answer is not close, but, it took until January, and that's whatever it is.
All right, that was Jason Benet on 670 to score earlier this week, talking about his, coming back to the White Sox and how close he was to leaving. He really, really enjoys being here. He is from the area. He grew up in Chicago in Homewood, Illinois. He graduated from Homewood Flossmoor High School in 2001. He went to the school in Syracuse out there. He did a lot of sports. He called women's basketball. He called Syracuse Chiefs baseball games. He also worked for Fox Sports 1, Westwood 1, Big East Conference, IMG College, Salem Avalanche, and DePaul University. So he's done a lot. He got his degree in communications, like I said, from Syracuse, and then got his Juris Doctor degree from Wake Forest. So this is a well-rounded and smart man who, by chance, suffers, not by chance, but he suffers from cerebral palsy, but that doesn't define him. He still works over, I think he calls over 200 games a year. And there's a little part in that interview that's not in that clip, but he is going to miss about between 30 and 40 games from the White Sox. It might be due to it looks like he's going to be the main voice for Fox baseball on Saturdays. So congrats to Jason and Steve Stone for continuing to be in the booth for the White Sox. All right, so I do have a ugly story to talk about. The White Sox, Mike Clevenger, under investigation by MLB. He's the starting pitcher the White Sox signed earlier this offseason, is now under investigation for allegedly violating Major League Baseball's domestic violence policy. For violating Major League Baseball's domestic violence policy. The investigation stems for allegations made by a woman, Olivia Feinstein, who accused Clevenger of physical and emotional abuse towards his 3 children and two of their mothers, herself included. She agreed to be named in an interview with The Athletic. Feinstein said to be in touch with MLB investigators since last summer. Wow. So this is when Clevenger was a member of the San Diego Padres, but mentioned her accusations in a series of stories on her Instagram account Tuesday. In them, she accused Clevenger of several acts of domestic violence and child abuse, including throwing chew spit on a screaming infant child and strangling her. The later accusation was posted with a series of photos that alleged to be the result of the violent acts committed by Clevenger, a 32-year-old who's been in Major League for 7 years. Wow. First off, Clevenger was signed with the White Sox for a 1 year, $12 million free agent contract at the end of November. He's going to get $8 million this year and $12 million with a mutual option with $4 million buyout in 2024. Put that business to the side. What the fuck is MLB doing? This is serious. If there's an investigation, why are you allowed to sign with a team? Right? You gotta play devil's advocate. Well, the guy's got to, make some money. Okay. This is a very serious allegation. You got Trevor Bauer, who didn't play for a year and some change, and then got released. For that, if you want to look that up, I don't want to talk about that one. But this is disgusting if this is true, because they are allegations and they are investigating all of this. We don't know if this person is looking for money. We don't, we don't know if these stories are true. But I don't know, man. Why would you put yourself in those situations? If you're a major league player, a celebrity, a professional athlete, why do you put yourself in those situations? And if you have a temper, if you have mental problems, if you have issues, go get help. Do not take it out on other human beings. Do not injure other human beings, especially children. But what really bothered me is if MLB knew about it since last summer, why not send a memo out to all 32 teams and say, hey, this guy's got some accusations, he's going to be investigated. There might be some legal recourse going on. Something might happen. So you are responsible for any ramifications if you do sign him. Or if you do sign him, make sure that there's a clause out there so if he is found guilty of these accusations, that you have a buyout, so that way you're not left hanging with the bag and having all this bad PR. There's been many professional athletes have been accused of this kind of stuff. Some of them, it's been proven. All right, we've seen the videos, right, with football players. Again, we're not condoning those type of actions because those are disgusting. But when is the league going to take a step forward and say this is not acceptable? You can't play until this is cleared up. All right. You know what? If you're cleared of all accusations and all charges, you'll get your back pay. Until then, you're not getting paid. You're literally on suspension until we resolve this. If you're a free agent, you can't sign until this is cleared up. That would put some fire in their ass to get this cleared up. Also, it would put some fire in their ass to not be put in these situations. So, the dumbass award of the week goes to both the White Sox, MLB, and Clevenger, just for putting yourself in that situation. But MLB and the White Sox, you should have known better, and you should be better. You guys should be the standard. All right, let's move on to some better and more uplifting news, somewhat, right? The Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls, another team that's just floundering right now. They did win against Orlando, but we have a ticking time bomb. What do you mean by that? Well, we have a ticking time bomb. It's called Lonzo Ball. This man hasn't played for a little bit over a year, since January 14th of 2022. He's gone under for 2 left knee surgeries in that span. this is supposed to be the point guard, the general of the floor general that's going to drive and give you the offense that Billy Donovan has constructed. And as you've seen, the time that he did play for us, it ran well. You know, everyone slotted into their spots. Everyone had their role, and everyone played pretty good because he distributed the ball. But we don't have a specific date when this man is coming back. You know, he posted that video of him dunking. That was it. That's really what it's going to be. He showed up for Paris in his, in his Crocs. But they are saying that he can possibly be by All-Star break, be back. I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening at all. Because if he does, it's going to take a couple weeks to get him ramped up into game speed. And then he's got to, get that chemistry back. That doesn't happen overnight. Right? And then how many minutes is he going to be restricted to? What? 10, 12, 14 minutes a night? And then what if he's, it's swollen? Then he's not playing back-to-backs. This man has literally stolen money from the Bulls. Not playing. It's disgusting because I think he's a really good player, but this injury that many other all-star athletes have had, they've come back from it within 4 to 6 weeks. It's just I don't know what to do with Lonzo Ball. What can you do? What recourse do you have as the Chicago Bulls with Lonzo Ball? He says Ball reiterated that in his comments that he remains hopeful to return to this season. And then he downplayed whether this injury is career threatening. Well, you haven't played in over a year. I mean, what benefit do the Bulls have in keeping you? Like what we really have no one that can dribble that well and can distribute the ball that well. And it's really, really hurting the offense. It really is hurting the offense. So I don't know what the next steps for Ball is, but I don't see him playing the rest of this year, this NBA season. He might be back the next season, and maybe when he's 100%, they'll trade him next year, but I don't see him helping the Chicago Bulls in any future forecast. Let's talk about another player that actually is producing. Vucevic, Man. He keeps producing big games. This is his contract year. So is that a motivation? Most of the time it is for these athletes, right? They're trying to maximize their payday. So Casey Johnson did talk about it on NBC Sports. So let's listen to that.
I can just tell you that from my reporting to this point, I've been given no indications that the Bulls are going to make a major move. Obviously, things can change, and you would think that these troubling losses might raise some red flags or alarm bells. But the executives I talked to from other teams have given me the impression that the word from the Bulls is that this core, they still want to see it work together. You've heard it ad nauseum, continuity from management. The one caveat I would throw out there is Nikola Vucevic. You got to keep an eye on that guy. Here's why. We all know it. He's an unrestricted free agent. You basically have to know right now, are you re-signing this guy this summer?
Because you don't want to lose him for nothing.
And if you're not, you just said it. You gave up a pretty high cost to get this guy.
You did, yeah.
If you do not know that you are re-signing him this offseason, and obviously that kind of stuff can happen at any time, those negotiations can take place, you have got to get something back for him.
All right, that was Casey Johnson on the Bulls post-game show. And he's exactly right. The Bulls have been known to overvalue some of their players, and at this point, you have Vucevic, who's at the end of his contract. He's playing very well. He's averaging a double-double. He's at 12 double-doubles in 14 games in the past 14 games. He's 32 right now. So how much more longer can he produce? I mean, what are you signing for? 2, 3 years? If you're not going to re-sign him, you've got to trade him. You've got to get something to build this organization moving forward, because right now you have a lot of similar players, a lot of small players. We're a bad rebounding team. We turn the ball over a lot. And also, they barely started moving the ball through Vooch again. And sometimes in the second half, they just forget about him. Again, his deal is expiring at the end of the offseason. The Bulls didn't, talk to him at the end of last offseason, and now we have until February 9th to make that decision. Are you going to trade him? What are you going to get back from him? Because his contract is expiring. Are they going to roll the dice and try to trade him or extend him in the offseason? Like, literally, they're playing chicken with they're playing chicken with this organization. They really are. I mean, you paid a lot to get him in 2021, March of 2021. You gave away, you traded for Vucevic for Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner, and the Bulls still owe a first round pick from this June's draft. So as long as it's not 1, 2, 3, or 4, that pick is going to Orlando. That pick is going over there to Orlando. So think about that. We're not going to have a first round pick unless we're in the top 4. All right. I think Vucevic is producing very well right now. And if you're going to trade him, you're going to trade him, right? You got to send him out and get the biggest return for him. He's averaging a double-double. He doesn't really need plays drawn out for him. But if you run the offense through him, he's a great passer. He's got that baby hook. He's got the little short jumper on the corner. He can shoot threes. He can spread the floor for you. So I think he would do really well on the West Coast where it's up and down. He doesn't have to be focused on defense. But again, you really got to get something for this man before he walks away. And this is kind of the MO of Chicago sports teams. Wilson Contreras, you could have traded him and got something back from a contending team, and it just didn't happen. And then he ended up walking away and playing for a rival. There's been multiple times that this has happened, and this is just nauseating how Chicago sports teams operate. All right, let's move on to another player on the Chicago Bulls, Kobe White. Kobe White is on the hot stove there. Yeah, the Kobe White, Jay Crowder trade rumors are heating up, and here's the thing: is that you're gonna give up a player who's improving on their defense, who's improving on their dribbling. I know people are very, very upset on how he's been playing the last couple of years. He's also his contract is expiring this year as well. You're looking at this kid who's been improving, fighting through screens. His defense is improving, his dribbling is improving, and he's been a pretty good shooter right now. Yes, he is very streaky. Yes, but so what shooter isn't right now? The Bulls do value White, and they rejected offers in the past. But, you're trying to trade for Crowder. I don't really think that the money matches up, so the Bulls are going to have to give up something else. So is that player Andre Drummond, who really just makes a cameo appearance on the Bulls once in a while? Great guy. Great guy. Andre Drummond is a great guy. Great locker room guy. Great leader. He's a veteran. I think he was just at the Boys and Girls Club in Cicero and took some kids out to buy them gym shoes. So he's a great person that cares about the community that he works for, and he puts in the time. But you're not really using him because Billy Donovan likes to put that small lineup. So, I mean, you're going to have to make a trade, and I don't think it's going to be a big trade because I don't think Zach or DeMar are going anywhere. But it's going to be one or two small moves to make a tweak. I don't want to see Kobe go because I think his shooting has improved, but we do have a lot of redundancy in the type of talent that we have on the basketball team. And to me, I don't know. I really don't think this team moves anywhere higher than a 6 seed the way they're playing. They play great against great teams and bad against bad teams, and it's just a redundancy of talent on the team. So I don't know what the Bulls are going to do for the rest of the year. Who is going to be traded? Where someone's going to be moved over? Are we getting some assets back? The Bulls have a lot of questions and not enough answers, and we're just going to have to stay tuned for more Bulls basketball, more Bulls news. All right, y'all. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
This is Enrique Calderon coming to you from True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Come check me out on social media, Enrique Calderon Official on Instagram and Facebook. Check us out.
Y te lo dice
Enrique Calderon.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z. All right, man, it's that time again. You know what time it is, people. It's time for Stirring the Pod. All right, so I'm doing some online shopping for my groceries, and I come across this product, and I'm kind of upset because they shouldn't be messing with one of my favorite cereals. Oh, General Mills, what are you doing? So there is a limited edition. There is a limited edition Cine Fuego Toast Crunch sweet and spicy breakfast cereal. Yeah, it says sweet cinnamon heat. What else does it say on this thing? Oh my God, who thought of this crap? Then it has it in Spanish and it says canela dulce picante. The packaging is a Cine Fuego, so cinnamon toast crunch, but the Fuego is in a different writing with a big red packaging and the little cinnamon squares with their tongue out and smoke coming out of their ears or fire out of their head or eyeballs. Okay, General Mills, what the fuck are you doing? There's no way in hell that's gotta taste good. Who approved this in those research studies? I'm telling you right now. Who the hell is gonna eat that? That's definitely a no for me. And you know what? I don't think I would even buy it and do a taste test. I don't want to spend I think it was $5 for it. Let's see. I think it looks like it's $5.95 or something for it. Yeah. No way in hell. No way in hell. All right, so TCSF Universe, tell me if I'm right. Am I wrong? Would you try Cine Fuego Toast Crunch? You can get it at your Jewel, at Walmart. I think Walmart is one of the carriers for sure. I just seen it pop up on Walmart. Are you going to try this? Would you try this? Would you like that flavor? I can't even imagine what that flavor. I just want to throw up at this point. That's just how disgusting that sounds. But again, we are foodies. You're a foodie. I'm a foodie. We're all foodies, and we all like to eat and try new things. But that's is that equivalent to eating Fireball for breakfast? And if you're doing that, that's disgusting. That's just syrup. There's no really liquor. There's barely any liquor in that. All right, so let's move on. So before we go, what are you watching that is in sports? What are you guys watching? You got to send me those DMs. You got to send me those emails with your suggestions of shows, movies, documentaries, all that stuff. Love all that stuff. For me, let's see. I just happened. I know it's sports, but it's not sports, right? Just finished watching this past Saturday the 30th Royal Rumble. It was over there in San Antonio. They had a men's and a women's Royal Rumble besides other matches. I think it was lackluster. I mean, you had maybe two surprises, one on each side that you were like, oh my God, no, I can't believe they put him in there or her in there. The men's had a good pop. A good reaction to one move. You had Logan Paul show up. So if you haven't seen it, I'm ruining it for you. Oh well. You can stop right here and watch it now. Logan Paul showed up, and there's one move where him and Ricochet, another wrestler, were on opposite ends of the ring on the outside on the apron. They both are very acrobatic and talented. They both jumped up onto the top rope, sprung from the top rope, and clotheslined each other in the middle of the ring. So if you are a wrestling fan and haven't watched it in a while, that is one of those things you've got to see. You can probably even find it on YouTube or on one of the social media platforms. But that was very surprising to have Logan Paul in there, and he is a talented dude, but a little too arrogant for me. And you did see a lot of the WWE superstars beat him up a little bit. So I was happy to see that. Another surprise was Booker T. He is from the area, from the Houston area. So while it was surprising, it was kind of like, yeah, that makes kind of sense. On the women's side, you did have a couple of surprises in there. You had The Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool, who was actually watching the Rumble with her daughters. Her music starts playing, and she's like, "What? Me? What?" And takes off her sweater and jumps in. And I think she was in there for like 8 or 10 minutes. So she did a pretty good job. But the one surprise that really, really surprised me was the return of Nia Jax. She was the 30th entry. She left on very, very bad terms. I can't remember what the backroom politics was, all of it, but I do remember she was known to be a little sloppy, a little stiff, which means she's actually hitting people a little harder than she's supposed to. And then she criticized WWE as she left and just was like, "I'm never going to work there." But just like, Vince McMahon usually says, never say never. So that is one thing that I've been watching. The other thing is I did finish season 2 of Hunters with Al Pacino. It takes place more in Argentina, and they're trying to chase and find, the one person they thought that was dead, and that is Adolf Hitler. So it is a very, very well-written show, very, very entertaining, suspenseful, great writing, great action. So if you have not watched Hunters with Al Pacino on Amazon Prime, that is a pretty good show to watch. All right, y'all, that is it for today. Thank you for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at the checkout for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Get your shirts now. Check out the rest of the 606 Media lineup. The newest show of the family is No Water on the Weekend with Steven and Sean. This is a pop culture forward podcast that dabbles in funny trivia, film, television, music, and Chicago-centric news and happenings. New episodes available every Monday on all platforms. Check them out. It is a funny podcast. I'm usually on at least once a month. I enjoy my time with these fellas. They're funny. Check out the latest podcast where they did a live show at a restaurant. So you might want to know which one it is. Maybe you get a discount. Maybe they'll tell you what to order there. All right, the Bulls are back, and that's right. The NBA is back in action. 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Shy Native Entertainment all present the All Net podcast. Make sure to check out the All Net with Mike Logic and Ideal after Bulls games for your breakdown and analysis. The Shy Native Radio podcast is now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. Check them out now. Also available on all platforms. Yes, we're all over the place. 606 Meters everywhere. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic, Serious Beats, and custom made for the beats we played on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for your moment merch and gear. Check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, IG, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you, your recommendations. Give us your input on these sports teams. What do you think is going to happen? Reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, y'all. For E-Rock, this is Big Z. We'll see you next time for episode 129. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.
I always like to keep my favorite snack handy.
Need a little excitement? Step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos.
Show's over, show's over, show's over.